Joining us from University of South Dakota, head women's basketball coach Kayla Carias, student athletes Macy Giebert and Grace Larkins. As you know, our normal format will be an opening statement from coach. We'll go to questions for the student athletes, dismiss the student athletes, come back to questions for the coach. Please identify your name and organization prior to the question. Give me a signal and we'll get to your turns. Go ahead with your opening statement, coach.
Well, I'm really proud of our kids, especially these two sitting right here next to me. It was a tough day for us. I definitely think the main goal for us offensively in this game was to control tempo, and we were able to do that twice against them earlier in the season. And they had other plans today, so made the adjustment to really press us. And I think early on, clearly it rattled us pretty good. And at halftime, we're sitting on 17 points off turnovers, and I think that was a moment for us to collect ourselves and to take a deep breath all together, and came out in the third quarter much more poised. I was really proud that way of just handling pressure better and looking up the floor, and we were able to get a lot of easy baskets that way. But we started trading baskets with them and weren't able to get the defensive stops that we really needed. So for them to score 53 in the second half, it's just that's just how they want to play. So even though we were scoring it off of the press, it was still at their pace, and I think that was the trouble with it, because they just wanted to play that fast pace. So, we just, at the end of the day, it came down to too many turnovers on our end and points off turnovers that they converted. So we just definitely have to clean that up, and they shot the ball extremely well. To hit 10 threes and shoot almost 50% from the floor. It came down to the defensive end in a lot of ways for us too. But again, I'm really proud of these two sitting here with me. I think all year long they've shown a ton of leadership, and so much positivity has come out of both of them, especially Macy for her whole career.
Thanks, Coach. Go ahead with questions with the student athletes. We'll go here and then here.
Just for either of you, how challenging was that Oral Roberts rest there, just getting the basketball out of this quarter?
Yeah, like Coach K said, they were able to force a lot of turnovers. I think we were able to figure it out a little bit more towards the end, but like she said, we were kind of trading baskets with them. So I think it really came down to our defensive stops, and we just got to get a few more of those down the stretch.
Grace, when you got it to 1 point in the third quarter, looked like you had kind of got some momentum going. The crowd got into it a little bit. I feel like at that point, maybe you were going to turn the tide and take over the game. And why ultimately do you think it wasn't able to happen that way?
I definitely felt like a lot of momentum, especially from the crowd. It feels awesome having all of our fans be able to be here and like being so close. That gave us so much momentum and everything, but it just came down to stops. We could score, but then when they come back and score right away too, it really didn't bring us anywhere. So it's a little defeating, but just knowing that everyone's here cheering us on really motivated us to keep going.
Max and Oliver was reaching the Summit podcast for either one of you or both of you. I personally felt like you played pretty patient, even with the press, and you were making good decisions. How do you guys feel about your shot selection and your decision making through the first 3 quarters of the game?
I think we took really great shots. A lot of them didn't fall, especially in the first half. But I still thought we took really, really great shots. It was just a matter of getting them to fall.
Yeah, we talked at halftime a little bit about getting some more looks at the rim. I think that we were able to do that in the second half, which definitely helped us offensively. But I agree with Grace. I think that we were getting a lot of great looks.
We're the last one right here.
Tracy, I know that you're the leader, one of the leaders of the team, but just how have you seen Grace grow as the leader this season?
Yeah, I think that Grace definitely found her voice this season. Anybody that knows Grace knows that she's a little bit quiet. And so I think we were really able to get her to become more of a vocal leader this year. And I'm so excited to see how she continues to grow next year. And I'll be your #1 fan.
Macy, Grace, thank you. You can head back to the locker room.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Go ahead with the questions for Coach. We'll go here in the second.
Coach, talk about handling the press much better in the second half. Can you kind of walk me through the differences between how you guys handled the first half and what you were able to do in the second half to really sort of break the press and cut that people?
I think the adjustments we made were pretty minimal. I think a lot more of it was just having more confidence and having more poise. First thing we did at halftime when I came in is everybody took a deep breath together on the count of 3. And I think that's all we just really needed. You've seen teams that it's a new environment. It's a big stage. We have 9 active players and 4 of them have played on this floor before in this arena. That's it. So I think it just rattled a few of our young players early, and it was really encouraging to see them come out in the third quarter with just a lot more poise and confidence.
Coach, just a few weeks back, you told the team with Rick overcomers. Just talk about this team's fighting through adversity to make it a 1-point lead there in the third quarter, just continuing to fight from this match.
Well, I feel like all season long, it's really been our theme, being overcomers, and today was no different. You know, we've seen this team battle through a ton of adversity and a lot of ups and downs, and lost 5 kids to season-ending injuries, and I could go on and on. But they just have such a great mindset about them, and I think we just really try to push on them that they've got to keep battling through whatever it is, and it's hopefully a lesson they don't just learn on the basketball court and take with them for life. But I felt like that was one more thing. We really didn't maybe blow it out of proportion at halftime. I think it really was, if we knocked on a couple of shots and turn it over a few times less, this is an entirely different ball game. And there was a look in their eyes, like nodding, like we can do this, we got this. And I just can't say enough about the strong mentality that they've had all year long. It's really impressive.
Republic, all season you've had moments where teams have scored a bunch, and that sort of popped up against your defense. Obviously, USD has a problem with their defense. How do you maybe expect to fix that?
Yeah, it's going to be a huge emphasis for us, right? And I know defense has been what has made this program really successful. I mean, 5 years in a row have been the best defensive team in the league and have won a lot of games because of it. So, it's been a real emphasis for us all year. Certainly, I know that's an area we've got to grow in. If man-to-man defense is going to be our bread and butter, then we just really have to get better at it. And we're going to have to find ways to get tougher and keep the ball in front of us. I didn't feel like we did that very well today. It wasn't really much screening action or ball screening. It was really just defending one-on-one and being in those gaps. And it's going to be definitely an area of emphasis. It's interesting coming into the season. I think a lot more of my concerns early on were who's going to score? How are we going to score, right? We lost 84% of our scoring, and I think we found a way to do that. Now it's definitely turning more towards we've got to find people who are going to defend. We've got to have this culture of toughness and get back to growing and getting better with our man-to-man defense.
Do you think coming into this game there was a little bit of pressure on you, the coaches, and the team based on last year's success for this program? Or do you think you guys were coming in with more excitement than thinking back to the past?
Yeah, I don't think it was about pressure this year. It's not something we talked about anyways, as far as our staff and our team goes. So I just feel like it's a brand new team, right? And I know this program has been very successful in the past, and has won the last 3 tournaments. And I think that's so impressive, and what a great culture to build off of. But we have such a different team now, and we can see the battles that we've encountered all year long. And I really think it was just more jitters and excitement more than anything for this group today.
Coach, you were on staff Dawn's first year. That was the last time this program lost a quarterfinal. This is very similar. I think they were 4th seed then. Lost to a team that had success over the season. What did you learn from that experience? How do you take this team forward, building off this? Because that loss kind of did lay the foundation moving forward for what the program became. What did you maybe take from that? And what do you do moving forward to kind of build this program back up after this point?
Well, I think the most important thing maybe that we got out of today is the great experience that these players had out on this floor. That, like I said, 4 players have out of the 9 we have active have ever even stepped foot on this floor in this arena, this environment. And it is a big moment. It really is. It's not the comfort of your home gym anymore. You're not shooting maybe the way that you want to all the time, and you've got to find other ways to win. You've got to get to the free throw line. You've got to get to the rim, and you definitely have to continue to defend. And so for our players all year long, the only way you become experienced is to get experience and to go through it. And it's just one more thing that we can add to the list that this group got to experience together. And none of those players even started in the game in this arena. So to put 5 players out there with including Walker Demers, who again should be a senior in high school, it's a big moment for a lot of these kids, and that can only bode well for us in the future. You get a little bit more comfortable. You've done it before. I think that breeds confidence next time.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you.